Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and it's good to have a return performance by our friend Juan Carlos Acosta. Now, I always get this wrong, but I'm going to try it. SACRA or SACRA?
SACRA.
That's what I thought. So SACRA PROFANA, Juan Carlos is the artistic director, joined by his colleague, Jason Carl Rosenberg, a composer. How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing great, and great to be here.
I'm so thrilled to it. And my guest co-host is Oscar Juarez. He's a senior at San Diego State, majoring in journalism like I did decades ago, and he's doing a wonderful job as my guest co-host. Are you enjoying this, Oscar?
Very much, yeah.
We didn't tell Oscar. He was just going to observe how we produce podcasts. And, of course, I said, how would you like just to sit behind the mic? He goes, I'll sit behind it. Do I have to say anything? I go, you just have to be my co-host, that's all. And he's done a great job. I'll get you going right over here. I know you have a question for Juan Carlos.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, what is the mission of your guys' organization?
Yeah, thanks for asking. SACRA PROFANA is a choral organization with a passion for contemporary music, a deep commitment to education outreach, and an engagement with the causes of social justice.
Well, and it's the end of that social justice. We need to amplify that times, 4 billion? And I'm not sure if that's even enough in this area. And you've heard me say this before, Juan Carlos. It's group like yours and your friends from Via Musica, who you just saw earlier. And, of course, we had Right Out Loud on, as I think as Elizabeth was mentioning, this is Art Day over here. And actually it is, because following you is Dr. Seuss Foundation on that. And then the San Diego Museum Council. So how about that for a quintet and so forth? So you're celebrating, what, is it 16 years?
Yeah, this is our 17th season. Yeah.
Very, very good on this. And Jason, what's your connection with SACRA PROFANA?
I actually have an unusual one in that I used to live in San Diego. I only recently came back, but I was in the founding ensemble. So I was a singer in the original group.
Is that right? Now here, I'm going to pretend I know what I'm talking about with singing. Baritone, what are you?
That's right. Baritone bass.
Oh my goodness. I want that on record. That's right. We actually got this right over here. It's the only thing I know when it comes to that aspect. How long have you been singing?
Oh, I guess my whole life, but I'm not a professional in the same way that someone like Juan is. I focus on composition.
Oh, is that right? Okay. And how long have you been doing composing?
Also, for a very long time, I went to UCSD, like Brandon here, okay. And went there for my master's and my PhD. So, I have a lot of practice and experience with that.
Now, do you come from a family of singers, composers, musicians, artists, everything else?
Strangely, it skipped my parents' generation, but my grandparents, they were, both my grandmothers were musicians, not professional, but they're both avid keyboardists, organists, singers. My mother's mother went to Juilliard for voice, but for some reason it skipped my parents' generation. But then me, I was always passionate about music, and my parents supported it.
It's funny you bring that up because my mom was an artist. She did oils and watercolors. She also played a little bit of folk music. Completely passed me over. I'm a good at stick figures, and that's about it on that. Oscar, you got another question for Juan Carlos?
Yeah, tell us about some upcoming performances you guys have.
Yeah, so on Saturday, October 18th at 7 p.m., we will be giving a concert of Jason's music paired with Thomas Tallis, Lamentations of Jeremiah, at San Dieguito United Methodist Church.
Right, exactly. How long have you been working on that?
So we just started about 2 weeks ago in this process, working on both compositions simultaneously.
So is this one of the harder pieces to do? Obviously, you've got a top-notch composer here doing it different. Talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've had a long history with this piece because I was involved in the premiere of it for his PhD 14, 12 years ago, something like that. And so we've been, I've had this piece and I've been growing with it. I was really intimidated by it when I first, took it on. And I'm getting like, I think a false sense of security because I feel like I really understand the piece and the mechanisms within it. And, but it is a difficult piece. And it's really interesting to pair it with this piece, the Thomas Tallis Lamentations, that are 500 years old. So this is ancient piece and this brand new piece that really come together in magical ways.
I'm sure I'm going to blow the pronunciation of this word. What's a polyphony? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, Jason, take it over.
Oh, polyphony just means many voices from the Greek. And so polyphony is just multiple voices simultaneously. So you have one melody and then another melody at the same time. And that creates polyphony. And so there's a certain art to making music that has multiple melodies at the same time. In some ways, we have that already with like a singer in a rock band, and then the guitarist might be doing a melody at the same time. You can call that polyphony.
Oh, okay. Very good. Did you know that, Oscar?
I did not.
Exactly. Every time Sacra Profana is on, I'm learning something in this aspect of it. Talk about this composition you did. Why do you like it so much? Or did you hate it when you were doing it? Or just a fun to do?
Oh, it was a long process. Okay. So it's a long piece. It's a big project. The concert as a whole is about an hour. Each piece, there's two pieces that are both a cappella, so there's only voices, and each one is about 25 or so minutes long, and they are interwoven. And to write a piece that is of that length and of that emotional intensity is a lot, and you get into that emotional intensity. The piece is all about loss, about sudden loss and the psychological ramifications of that loss. And so it's a heavy piece, but it's also really beautiful. But getting into that world is a lot, and staying in that for such a long time to write the piece was an experience. So it's a challenging experience, but I'm honored to have done it and to write not only the music, but also the text that the singers will be singing for it. So I created my own poetry for that piece and then the music to go along with it.
So, we always talk about this on the show, on the many, many guests that Elizabeth brings on, or her colleague Susan Clausen. We love to say the actors, okay, how tough is it you to get out of your acting mode? I mean, do you find yourself doing this if it's a big piece, you've been practicing it for a while, now the thing runs for 4 weeks? When you go shopping, are you still in that mode over here? Let me ask you this. You said that was a tough piece to do. You really had to get into it. Are you out of it now, or are you still in it?
Well, it's interesting. Now it's been a while since I first wrote it. But now when I go to a rehearsal or a performance, I can enjoy it from a distance. But then it's interesting. As soon as the choir starts to sing it, I somehow get into that space again. It's a very emotional piece. Mm-hmm. And I think once you hear it, you also start feeling that you get your own emotions brought back to you. Emotions of sadness, of loss, of lamentation. And so when you hear it, you are reminded of times that have been difficult for you. And certainly that's been my experience. And as the composer, I'm even reminded of the process of creating the piece and the difficulties of doing that, the emotional space to be that I was in order to write that piece.
We're chatting with Jason Carl Rosenberg. He's the composer of L.O.S.T. to be performed at with Sacra Profana, joined by our good friend, artistic director Juan Carlos Acosta. What are the dates again for the performance?
Yeah, October 18th at 7 p.m.
And they get tickets by going to the website?
Yes, sacraprofana.org.
Very good. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast. We're in our 19th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 60 years of doing great things in our community, whether it's food insecurity, whether it's the art, whether it's financial literacy. They're involved in so many things. So honored to have as my guest co-host, a fellow Aztec. Oscar Juarez is a senior in journalism at San Diego State. So do you love to go to live performances like these things, Oscar?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you like most about it?
Honestly, the ambiance. I love being with other artistic people, being in a crowd, listening to music with other people. I liked what you said, music is emotional, and I feel like you get this wave of emotions anytime you go to a concert, whether it be sadness, whether it be happiness, and sitting in a group of people and getting that ambiance is very powerful and very incredible.
Well said. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that we are still kind of recovering from the COVID era is experiencing these types of events together. The emotions, the experience is amplified by having other people in the room experiencing it with you. There's just nothing, no offense to podcasts and recordings, but there's just nothing to...
No offense taken, but we're cutting off the interview now.
Yeah, so well said.
Well, in essence, but it is. We're very similar to that because here we are. We are live in the studio.
That's right.
It'll be broadcast later, but it's real people talking about their experiences. And our audience is starting to see these things because our associate producer, Brandon Joe's done a great job with YouTube Shorts. So now we're starting to see the people and looking at their nonverbal communication of how they're dealing with it. And that's about all of it. And you sort of beat me to the punch here, but I'm glad you did, Juan Carlos. And we've talked about it quite a bit. There's just nothing like seeing something live.
Exactly.
And when you're in that audience, obviously the actors and singers, they play upon it. Mm-hmm. Let me ask the composer, do you do the same thing? Do you watch this audience, see their reaction, and what does it do for you?
Interestingly, the being in the audience is important to me because I can feel the energy. It's less about looking at them and being really conscious of them and seeing their faces because I get so basically lost into the music.
No pun intended.
Oh, pun intended.
No, actually, pun intended.
Very intended. That I get so into it that I'm invested in that space, and it's almost like I forget where I am. Mm-hmm. But knowing that others are around me and having that be a collective experience is such a magical impact on my soul, on my heart, on the way that I process that experience.
Right. We come back from break. We're going to continue the conversation with Juan Carlos Acosta. He is the artistic director of SACRA PROFANA, joined by his colleague, Jason Carl Rosenberg. He's the composer of L.O.S.T. He'll be performing from the 18th of October at 7 p.m. Go to the website to get some tickets to this. When we come back from break, we're going to talk about, Juan Carlos, some of your community outreach efforts. Always save time in the second half of the interview on what our listeners can do to support your efforts. And we will be right back after this short break.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, nation's longest running community podcast, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things in our community. They shine a light on the arts. They love to do the arts. They've been heavily involved in Art Walk San Diego. There's a very cool Italian festival coming up in Little Italy that they're heavily involved in. They just do great work all over the board, joined by our friends from SACRA PROFANA and Juan Carlos Acosta. He's the artistic director, joined by Jason Carl Rosenberg, the composer of L.O.S.T. thrilled to have sitting next to me my colleague at San Diego State. He's a journalism major, is a senior, and that is Oscar Juarez. And Oscar, I know you have another question for Juan Carlos.
Yes. So Juan, can I call you Juan?
Please, yeah.
Describe SACRA PROFANA as community outreach and effort out here in San Diego.
Yeah, so as a music organization, we have a heart for music education, and we have some robust efforts in that aspect. It is changing with the continual education dynamic in this country, but we have a summer choral intensive, which is our week-long summer camp that we do on the campus of San Diego State University for middle and high school students, and then that culminates in a performance there at SDSU. And then we partner with the San Diego Unified School District. This year, we'll be doing their honor choir program in the spring. And so we'll have students from all over the city come together and sing in various choirs, and along with the singers of SACRA PROFANA. So those are our two kind of primary music education outreach moments right now. But then for every concert, we try to partner with another organization that kind of is actually doing the work of the subject matter that we sing about, because we really feel that without community connection to the arts, it's just, it's not just beauty and it's not just, this thing, but we really want to have a tangible way to connect with the community. So for this concert, we have two amazing partners. The Survivors of Suicide Loss, which is a San Diego-based organization that's peer-led support groups for people who have experienced loss of people through suicide. And then the Elizabeth Hospice, which is an organization that's dedicated to a world in which every life ends in compassion and being honored in a great way. So two amazing organizations that really connect well with this piece. And so we're really proud to be partnering with them.
I think for 75 different reasons, that is just so spot on, Juan Carlos. One, obviously elevating two groups that are in this space. But just getting the audience to understand, as you mentioned, there's beauty of the composition that, Jason Carl has done, but it's more than that. Mm-hmm. And I think every time, when I go to a SACRA PROFANA performance, there's going to be some type of organization that's going to focus on, whether it's going to be, which most people don't realize this, Oscar. Unfortunately, San Diego is a hotbed for sex trafficking. And a lot of people go, what are you talking about? You always hear these things back in, Europe or whatever. No, it's a big deal. But when you take on these social justice, who decides on those, Juan Carlos? Is it a composer like Jason Carl Rosenberg? Is it the actors and actresses? Do you come up with it? You try to obviously tie it to the performance, of course.
Absolutely. It's really a team effort. So at the beginning of the season, I met with two of our singers, two of our board members, and myself, and we all talked through each of the concerts and then tried to identify different organizations that we were aware of, that we had personal connections to, that we thought were connected to the subject matter of the concerts. And then we start reaching out. And some folks are just not interested in partnering, which is fine. They have their own organizations. Sure. But then we try to find organizations, and we're particularly proud of these organizations. We feel like they are doing great work and really a great connection to this piece. Yeah,
and that must be something for you to really glom on to, Oscar. I mean, your whole role is going to be a budding journalist, is get the word out on whatever the case may be. And I can't imagine an organization not wanting to be involved in it because you guys are picking up the slack with marketing. You talk about it, Oscar, how important that is, getting the word out with these critical issues.
Oh, definitely very important. I think, especially with the rise of social media, I think it's a lot easier to get the word out. I think it's a little harder, though, for some who, who feel like they can't find it. Mm-hmm. I feel like there's some people who feel like they can't reach out either because they're scared to or because of other reasons. I think that it's important to let them know that it's a safe space. And I like that you guys are promoting spaces like this and companies like this. It's important, especially in this day and age where it's like social media is very important, but it's also very disturbing, some of the things you can find on there.
Exactly. Yeah.
What I like about it too, and then maybe I'll ask this question to you, Jason Carl Rosenberg, and then you can jump in on that, Juan Carlos. The audience is aware of those themes, okay, going into the performance, right? So it's publicized that it's going to involve in these two groups. So, and we all know when it comes to performance, whether it's going to watch a play or seeing a musical performance, and even somehow even reading, some things that are in the newspaper, it's how you come into that situation. What is your mindset? But you're sort of teed it up a little bit for them to think about these things ahead of time.
Sure.
I'll start with you on this, Jason. Does that have an impact on how the audience is going to view the composition? Because they know it's going to be involved with some of these issues.
It's a great question. It's hard for me to predict. I think actually Juan would be better at answering this question because he has more experience with the ensemble and the audience. So I'm going to pass this one to him.
Sure. I think, and as a composer, I think you're maybe so close to the work.
Right.
And I've had this chance to sing it twice and be involved in the preparation, but now conducting it. And what I think about loss is such a personal thing. Everybody brings their own experience to that. Jason and I both have lost our fathers since this piece was premiered, within days of each other, but same month, but years apart. And he was very close to my father, so that was also very personal. And so you bring all this personal connection to loss. But what I think is so great about this work is that it is specific enough and open enough simultaneously for you to have your own experience with it. So the poetry leaves plenty of room for you to interpret it for yourself. And so I think it's really beautiful thing to experience this work. I find myself getting choked up many times in this, and I've got to focus in on the art itself. But I think that's one of the great things, and I invite our audiences to come in, bring whatever you have, you're dealing with emotionally to this, and just allow yourself to experience it in whatever way that speaks to you, because there is so much depth and richness to this piece that I think that it's gonna hit for people.
Right. Now, is the loss, is it sudden? Is it something that no one's anticipating and boom, it happened? We all know those are very different than, I'm going to lose this person. I lost my father many, many, many years ago. Actually, to be honest with you, I can't believe it's been 47 years come November. But we knew we were going to lose him because he had a disease that was no cure for, and he was a doctor, so he knew exactly what was happening. Versus when you lose someone, tragic accident or whatever the case may be, talk about that. Which type of loss is this?
Yeah, I can speak to that one. Yeah. So there's a history behind this piece. Thomas Tallis. So the concert has a masterpiece by Thomas Tallis, and this piece is written in the 1560s. That piece is called Lamentations of Jeremiah, and that piece is based on the Lamentations that are in the Old Testament of the Bible. Originally, that was in Hebrew, and the piece is about the sudden loss of the sudden sacking of Jerusalem and the destruction of the temple, and it deals with that loss and the psychological repercussions of that loss. And so the piece is the Thomas Tallis is based on that history, and then my piece uses all of this as inspiration, both the Hebrew background, his historical context, and it's all woven together. So it's, in some ways, it's about the unexpected loss, but it's also, in some ways, about the thinking about it, mulling it over, having it be reflected upon. So it's kind of both, the shock and then like the 5 stages of grief, which is very directly used in the piece. There's 5 sections of the piece, and each one uses the stages of grief. And so you go through all the different psychological aspects of that loss. Yeah, no, I think it's something that's is so critical to bring up. If you're human, you're going to experience some loss somewhere down the road. I guess even if you're not human, right? In that area of it. And I'm glad you focused on one aspect of it with suicide. It's something that is growing
significantly in our country. We do a lot of work with the military, and it's off the charts when it comes to the military, which is absolutely, it's heartbreaking no matter when it happens, but definitely in this aspect of it. So thank you for the explanation on that, Jason. Really appreciate it. 1560, wow. That's something. So Juan Carlos, shout out, what can we do to support your beautiful SACRA PROFANA organization?
Yeah, so check out our website, sacraprofana.org. You know, the arts is an endeavor that takes a lot of resources. So we appreciate any kinds of volunteers or donations, but especially concert attendees. So you can get your tickets there on the website for Sunday, October 18th. At San Dieguito United Methodist Church.
Well, Juan Carlos, it is always a pleasure having you in. You always bring in some cool cats.
Right.
You know, like Jason Carl Rosenberg. Congratulations on this piece. What's in you? Nothing but great success on this. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. As you've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, we are the nation's longest running community podcast in our 19th year, brought to you by the fine folks at Mission Fed Credit Union. I've been doing this great things in our community for more than 6 decades. And Oscar Juarez, thank you for being another good job as a co-host. I threw him right into the fire today. He's just doing it with fine fashion. And to our audience, we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.